Namaskar viewers, hello and welcome to Sansad TV. I'm Tina Jha, you're watching Perspective. The British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is currently in India, his first visit to the country since taking office in 2024. Significantly, the visit comes in the backdrop of the historic Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement signed between India and the United Kingdom in July this year, a milestone witnessed by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Prime Minister Keir Starmer in person. The British Prime Minister is accompanied by a high-powered delegation of 125 members, including leading CEOs, entrepreneurs, university vice-chancellors and also cultural figures. The delegation arrived in Mumbai to a warm reception. Speaking on the occasion, Prime Minister Starmer expressed hope for the early implementation of the trade agreement, describing it as a launchpad for future economic cooperation. He also highlighted that with India poised to become the world's third largest economy by 2028 and trade between the two countries set to become quicker and cheaper, the opportunities for growth are unparalleled. Analysts estimate that the India-UK trade agreement could increase bilateral trade by nearly £25.5 billion, which is about $34 billion by the year 2040, with the potential for even greater expansion in the years ahead. So in Perspective today, we discussed the significance and expectations from the UK Prime Minister's visit to India, but also how the free trade agreement could open new doors for economic collaboration, innovation and prosperity for both our countries. Joining us on the program are three very distinguished guests. So let me begin by introducing them to you. I'm pleased to welcome on the program today Ambassador Sushil Kumar Singhal, former diplomat, Dr. Ranjit Mehta, CEO and SG, PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and Dr. Sheetal Sharma, Associate Professor, Center for European Studies, JNU. Thank you to all my guests for joining us on the program today. Welcome to Sansad TV. Let's begin the conversation with you, Ambassador. So the visit of the Prime Minister, the British Prime Minister, it's his first to India since assuming office in 2024. It comes close on the heels of the historic India-UK Free Trade Agreement. To begin with, how do you assess the timing, but most importantly also the symbolism attached with this visit, because he is accompanied by a very, very large delegation of 125 members?
Oh, well, Tina, as you rightly mentioned, that we had a historical agreement, CETA, which was signed in July 2025. It was a historical moment for both the countries, because this kind of comprehensive is one of the rare agreement which has been signed between the two countries. And we know that after the British exited the EU, they were looking towards India to have a special relationship, and because they wanted to become a sort of a gateway for Western countries. And so it was a big ambitious target, and it was signed. Of course, it was a lot of discussions took place, which is usual. And the visit, I think, is focused primarily on ensuring the implementation and timeline of this CETA, because it's a very big for British side. For UK, it's very important that it is implemented and timelines are, because sometimes what happens is the agreements are signed and these are not implemented because they get caught up in different games or sometime inertia. So I think he's very keen that the timelines are fixed, and the visit starting from Mumbai. So it's very symbolic, and it clearly shows that it is mainly focused on trade and business.
Right.
And 125 CEOs and the other business members are there. So, and which is when we look at every important industry is represented in this, be it aeronautics, defense, education, fintech. Everybody is there, which is important for them or for India. So this, I expect that, number of agreements are going to be, MOUs are going to be signed during this visit, and which will be a highlight. As far as the political aspect is concerned, it's very important for UK, for the Britain to be seen as an important player in Asia Pacific. Mm-hmm. And as you rightly mentioned, that Starmer also has mentioned, Prime Minister Starmer has also mentioned that India is going to be a fourth largest economy. So I think Britain is very keen to have an early start with India and ensure that this relationship is not only limited to the business, trade, diplomatic, but also on the defense side. And they, of course, have the education, which is
Surely. So
also very
we will
important.
talk about the outcomes, the expectations from this visit, and especially after that meeting between both the prime ministers takes place. But since you spoke about priorities of the United Kingdom post Brexit, let me take across the next question to Professor Sharma. Professor, the British Prime Minister has described the FTA, of course, as the biggest, the most comprehensive agreement post Brexit. In your opinion, and would you believe that the FTA now represents a turning point in the India-UK relations and that the priorities of the United Kingdom post-Brexit have shifted more towards India?
Tina, there were certain conditions in which, UK was dealing with number of countries all across the world, and India being one of them. Being fifth and sixth largest economies of the world, automatically it brings both of them together. UK post Brexit is operating in a context in which UK is looking for partners and trading partners all across the world, and not just the trade, the other dimensions also. So it signed an FTA with Japan, with Australia, with New Zealand, and India. The important point is that one is that the time period within which the FTA was signed, that was very quickly. Otherwise, if you look at the India EU FTA, it has been hanging for a long period of time despite a lot of negotiation. Number two, the content of the FTA, the content of the trade agreement, which balances the interest of both the countries, India and the EU. And the third part of it, when UK exited the European Union, it was a condition for the UK to stand on its own feet. You remember the time 2020, it was struck by COVID, it was struck by recession, it was facing migration crisis. At that point of time, exiting EU was another, a kind of jolt that UK had seen.
Yes.
But in the process, in the last 3-4 years, if it has been able to successfully sign FTAs with number of countries, and I would talk about India, it is a remarkable achievement for UK itself. The third part of it is that the India-UK Vision 2035 and particularly the Roadmap 2030, which focuses on a number of aspects. The 5 main points are particularly connecting countries and people. You talk about trade and prosperity, security and defense, health and climate. Now look at the content or the terms which have been used in the Roadmap 2030, which talk about prosperity, which talk about people to people connect. So this is kind of showing a kind of, an intention for UK to come and have like-minded partners all across the world, and particularly in India, being one of the oldest democracies, just like UK, being culturally diverse, multicultural model, having large number of Indian people in UK. This brings both of them together at the point of convergence over values, over the operating templates, and shared prosperity. So I think the time and the context is right for both of them to move in the same direction.
And especially the free trade agreement, the bilateral trade agreement will be adding a new layer of, deepening that partnership in that context. Dr. Mehta, the British Prime Minister has already mentioned that it is a launchpad for future economic cooperation. But because it's being described as a game changer, help us and our viewers understand from an industry viewpoint, especially what kind of new opportunities does it open up for Indian businesses?
Thank you very much for having me here. I think what we are witnessing today is a transformation of our shared, history and vision into a very, very forward-looking economic partnership between India and UK. It is the first FTA which is so comprehensive, where more than around 95% goods and services, they have been, either free or the duty has been less on that.
Yes.
As India is aiming to become the third largest economy of the world, at the same time, growth. I think this partnership is very important for India as well as for UK. And the visit of, Prime Minister of UK yesterday marks a defining moment in this journey. India today is the third largest ecosystem of startups in the world. I think UK at the same time is having very mature technology, especially green financing and green technologies, and a lot of innovation ecosystem is there in UK, and from which the Indian businesses, especially when we have more than 65 million MSMEs in our country, and our country is aspiring to become the third largest economy. Therefore, we need the technology, we need the green technology, we need the green financing, and UK is a matured market. I think this is the first FTA with any advanced economy that India has entered into. I think this is one of the most important FTAs as far as our startups are concerned, because India being the young country in the world, more than 65% people, they are young in our country. So we need technology, we need innovation ecosystem, and we also need the green transformation that is required for our MSMEs. And I think that we have huge opportunity today. Our if you look at the trade between India and UK, which stands around, including services, is around $56 billion. And with this, what we aim is to become $120 billion trade between India and the UK by 2030. That is the goal of Government of India. I think in this journey, we have already taken many delegations to UK in last 2 months, and there is a lot of hope and expectation, and British companies are also looking forward to Indian market, because today India is one of the biggest market in the world. We have 1.45 billion people. I think anyone would like to enter into this market, and the kind of historic reforms that Government of India has also taken, so which is on ease of doing business, creating the enabling environment for the industry. So therefore, I think that this partnership has a lot of hope, and we hope that both Indian industry and UK industry, we enter into really very fruitful strategic partnerships, which will go a long way, create a lot of employment.
So there is indeed huge potential, which through this comprehensive trade deal, both sides are trying to tap into. But, since you spoke about hopes and expectations, I'm intrigued to ask you, because the British Prime Minister is accompanied by a large delegation, a number of them are business leaders, what kind of business to business and institutional partnerships are expected from this visit, and especially which will be announced after that crucial meeting between both Prime Ministers? Mr. Mehta?
I think there are a lot of areas of collaboration. One is the green technology, another is the green financing, and then I think that both our businesses, people are really looking. There can be partnerships in technology, in textiles, in auto components, and in service related areas. I think there is a huge opportunity even for the UK companies in India. At the same time, we are really right now hardest hit by the US tariffs. So I think that UK being a very matured economy, we see a lot of opportunity for our companies as far as the textile sector is concerned, auto component is concerned, and agri products, these are concerned. I think that there can be huge opportunities for Indian businesses as well as for UK businesses. And we hope that certain good partnerships will definitely come out of this visit, and everyone is very keen. Since I think this is the first high level delegation which has come from UK.
Yes.
And the deals do not happen in the first visit. I think this is very good business to business connect. I think from here on, this is the foundation for real outcomes for the future, and this is very important, because the more we meet, we create that trust. And today, one of the best things that had happened, that India is emerging as the most trusted global partner in the world. People are believing in Indian economy. People are believing in our ability. People are believing in Indian entrepreneurship. They believe that Indian market is very, very, big. So therefore, all the industries today, they definitely want that they should collaborate in India, they should do business with India, and ultimately, next 20, 30 years, I think the Indian economy is definitely going to be very, very powerful. As we have the aim for Viksit Bharat by 2047, I think this is one of this is just not a vision, the government and industry is in a mission mode. We all are gearing for this. I think this is a great moment, defining moment for the industry, for the businesses.
And that's why I think this visit of the British Prime Minister is extremely crucial, Ambassador. This was about how we are strengthening our economic partnership and our trade relations. But since, Mr. Mehta also spoke about India's rising stature and India emerging as a key player in the global leadership, how do you see India and the UK also converging more and more on issues that matter, not just to the region, but the entire global picture, the geopolitical scenario, which is evolving in different parts of the world. At the same time, also in futuristic areas of innovation, of say green partnership, something that Mr. Mehta also spoke about. How do you see the future trajectory of growth in these areas between India and the UK?
Well, starting with the India and UK collaborating or positioning themselves in the changing scenario in geopolitics. I think Britain is one country where we don't have much difference of opinion be it about the China, be it about what is happening in the Middle East. So, except we have some difference of opinion what is happening in Russia and Ukraine. So, I think this visit is going to strengthen the cooperation in the Asia Pacific, because UK is very keen that they want to be seen as a player in Asia Pacific, and they find that India is the route from which they can be seen as an international player. So they would like to collaborate with India in Asia Pacific, work with us in this area. Secondly, I think the defense is going to be a very important component because Rolls-Royce and other CEOs are there. So in my view, some defense deal, some cooperation defense deal is going to be announced, and quite likely. And then, of course, they will be collaborating in the cyber security, in my view, because that's very important. 5G, 6G is going to be a very important area where I think there are going to be some announcement, in my view. And you talked about the green energy. Yes, this is, green energy is field where India is looking for collaborations and
Clearly,
technology.
And we are also diversifying our partnerships with the countries globally, but in context of the global leadership and how we are, sort of collaborating in matters that concern largely the entire world, since India now also is a key player in the global geopolitical scenario. Professor, I'll take that question from you. We are in a situation where both India and the UK, we can say, we are navigating major global transitions, given the geopolitical scenario that prevails currently. How do you see this partnership, the India-UK partnership, fitting within the shifting global political as well as economic order?
Tina, the world order is in transition, that's no doubt. The second is that there is a multipolarity in the sense that different areas and different regions are emerging as the leading regions. Say, for example, in science and innovation and technology, or we talk about economic development. Certainly, the primacy or the dominance of the two poles is now fading. And in the Trump administration, most of the doubts regarding this leadership role of the United States has been now on decline. Now, what role for India and how UK can be a partner here? Because of our historical legacy, UK has always been one of the windows towards the West, not just the Europe, but to the West in general. And because of the diaspora present there, English-speaking population in India, our ability to understand Western templates, there has been a quite close connection with the United Kingdom for centuries together. Now, in the modern times, it is very important because, number one, there is a convergence over values that we believe in terms of democracy, in terms of freedom of navigation, or you talk about human rights or the treatment of minorities, liberty, equality, whatever we talk about. So the Western values or the modern values in which both of us believe in. Number two, at the geopolitical level now, India offers a leadership role to the developing countries, which was very evident in the G20 summit, where India offered leadership 2 years back. and the ability for India to mobilize the developing world and be a voice for the developing world with the global north, or you can say the developing world. So this is where India happens to be playing a crucial role. Now, what UK has to offer in this? UK was pressed by its own operating conditions right now because of the detachment from the European Union. Then next is the Trump administration giving shocks all across the Europe and the world. And third, the economic recession which it was facing, the intra-economic problems that the European Union, UK was facing. So among all these things, it was a pressing need for the UK to press its paddle and move towards economies that can offer a sense of stability, a sense of strength. And for India, once again, dealing with European Union on one hand, dealing with UK on the other hand, and also dealing with the US on the other hand, all the 3 and 4 other dimensions with China and other neighbors. It is once again giving strength to India because UK is a trusted partner. For a long period of time, we have been having cordial relationships, we have been having comprehensive strategic partnership. So this provides us a global platform and a sense of alignment with the people or the like-minded partners, and UK happens to be one of them, along with other member states of the European Union. UK also happens to be one of a long-standing partner in our voices, such as reform of the United Nations Security Council, or you can say offering or identifying India's greater role and potential in the future dealings. So that is why when we say that 2030 roadmap offers us new insights and areas to collaborate in future, all of them happen to be dealing with the real concerns of the developing world, and they also fit well with the kind of the mission or the programs of the current government or the future, that is 2047, where we envision ourselves to be Viksit Bharat. So how do we look at this? UK plays an important role in providing its capabilities and capacities to support India's developmental initiatives or goals. And this is where I see that whatever happens tomorrow and whatever has happened in the month of previous months of where FTA was signed, all that fits well into our narrative of development and also looking for like-minded partners across the globe. Otherwise, the bottom line remains that trust is an important factor, reliability is an important factor, meeting our developmental aspirations is an important factor, in which both trade, security, defense, and people-to-people connect play an important role. And all other things like health, climate, AI, cybersecurity, all other things fall in the place into this broad narrative or the framework that I would say.
In fact, people to people connect, and the soft power dimension is something that was my next question, because the presence of various academic and cultural leaders in the delegation that is accompanying the UK Prime Minister, it definitely underscores the role of education and the soft power in strengthening our relationship. Ambassador, how do these dimensions enrich the overall India-UK relationship, given also because we have a significant number of diaspora residing there, but how significant has the people-to-people connect been in shaping the political, the cultural dynamics of this partnership?
Well, as rightly pointed out by Dr. Sheetal Sharma, that, India and UK have a very long history of relationship. And Indian diaspora in UK is playing a very important role. And Indian investments also are, in UK is the one country where India's FDI is the highest. And so India has a very much stake when we come to the people to people or the trade contract connect. A lot of Indian students go to the UK universities in Britain. They study there. And I think India is one of the largest contributor in terms of the students to UK. So people to people connect is already there because we have a large diaspora, which is shaping sometime, I would say, even the British narrative and, giving them food for thought. For that, of course, there is some other issues which I'll not go at this moment. But the university, in this delegation also, there is a large number of universities who are represented. So this delegation or the Prime Minister also realizes, or his government also realizes, that India connect for the people to people is very important for them. And that is why the delegation includes the universities because they are going to talk about the collaborations with Indian universities, I'm sure, and there will be some announcement. So coming back to the question, the people to people connect is already there, and this visit I think is going to also focus on this further, intensifying that people to people connect along with the trade. That is what my opinion.
Both sides have been working, given that they have laid out the roadmap for 2030, 2035. The vision is that both sides ensure that their partnership remains future ready, remains people centric, and that is what both sides are hoping for as well to continue. So as we look ahead to that important meeting between both Prime Ministers, we've certainly spoken about some important outcomes and expectations from the visit, but the early implementation of the FTA is something, of course, that the British Prime Minister has hoped will happen and will benefit both sides in the near future. Time allows us to take up only that much on the program today. Thank you once again, Ambassador and Professor, for joining us. Mr. Mehta had to leave because he had a prior appointment. Thank you once again to all our guests for joining us and sharing your thoughts with us and our viewers. To you viewers, thank you for your time as well.
To watch more programs of Sansad TV, subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to like and share them.